Hi guys, 18dap here and welcome to this match preview for tomorrow's fixture. It's Doncaster Rovers versus AFC Wimbledon in League 2. Let's get the video started. So guys, welcome to this match preview. Doncaster versus AFC Wimbledon in League 2. It's not been a great season for either of us, but we still plough on, we move forward. If you're an existing subscriber, thank you so much for sticking around on the channel. Thank you for the support. It's greatly appreciated. We're on the road to 3,000 subs, so if this video has brought you here, please consider clicking subscribe so you don't miss any future content. Matchday vlog will be coming up tomorrow after the game. And if you are new to the channel, this is a format that we go through match previews in. We'll look at previous meetings between the two clubs, current form across all competitions, player profile, so I'll choose a Doncaster Rovers player to say a few words about. I give my opinion on the opponent's one to watch, so in this case for AFC Wimbledon, but as I always say, you know your club much better than what I do, so please in the comments down below let me know who we should be watching out for as Rovers fans in tomorrow's fixture. And then we'll finish the video off with three predictions: a predicted team lineup thanks to FanHub, the predictions league table that me and the family do, and then a score prediction at the very end. So without further ado, let's get into previous meetings. Donny and Wimbledon not faced off too many times in our history. Obviously Wimbledon reformed, and since then we've faced each other 12 times. Rovers coming out on top on 3 occasions, Wimbledon coming out on top on 4, and we've shared the spoils 5 times. So Wimbledon just edging it in our history, but pretty close. When we look back at our last 5 meetings, we go back to the 2020-2021 season in League 1. It was a 2-2 draw away from home and then a 2-0 win. Definitely take a win. We need something to cheer us up. And then we go to the 2021-22 season, and that was a 2-1 defeat at home and then a 2-2 draw. So Wimbledon have started to get the better of us in the more recent seasons, because earlier this season away from home it was a 2-2 draw. So yeah, if the season before that is anything to go by, it could be a 2-1 defeat tomorrow, which wouldn't surprise me in all honesty after this midweek performance. Current form though does tell a different story. It's two teams not in any form really. Looking at Doncaster, 1 win, 2 defeats, a draw and then a defeat midweek against Harrogate. Wimbledon on the other hand, 2 draws and then 3 defeats on the bounce coming into this one, so lacking in confidence I think for both teams tomorrow. For us though, if our season wasn't already over, it certainly is after Tuesday's performance. I've let the dust settle for a few days because I was absolutely fuming on Tuesday night, and to be honest I'm still absolutely livid with the performance level that we were given from the team. Just indefensible, inexcusable, just absolutely poor. I think a lot of soul searching should have been done this week, throughout the week, for the staff and players, and they need to deliver tomorrow. They need to give the fans something special as repayment for the absolute abject performance in Tuesday night's fixture at home to Harrogate, which we fell to a 2-0 defeat and we just didn't get going for the full game. So extremely poor. I think I said everything that I needed to say in the blog, to be fair, and I don't really want to spend any more time dwelling on it because it was shocking. I'm not going to call for Danny's head yet. I think too many managers have come and gone in such a little time, and they've not done anything with their time here. So I think the problem at Doncaster Rovers is higher. Hopefully something happens in the summer. I've said it in the blog. I think the board either needs to come and say that they're going to invest and invest a decent amount of money. We're not asking for millions, just a decent amount of money to give us hope and ambition again. Or they need to come out and say what the plans are for the future, or they just need to leave, sell up and move on if they're not going to be investing, or there's no plans of investing, because they are currently killing the club. It's the lowest I remember for a long time, and we'll be losing fans and they are very difficult to get back. So yeah, it's a tough time at the minute at the Rovers, but we've got to stick together as fans and cheer the lads on, but they need to give us something to cheer about. On to Wimbledon. As with Harrogate midweek, Wimbledon comes to Doncaster in poor form, without a winning 7, so exactly the same as what Harrogate had coming to the Eco Power Stadium last week. or earlier this week, should I say. So I think they'll probably be banking on their first victory since beating Stockport in January. We are the gift that keeps on giving for teams who are out of form. In those 7, 4 defeats, 3 draws, sees them sitting 15th, which is a poor return to League Two. Same as what we're having, to be fair, same as what all 4 teams who got relegated are having. Crewe are lower than Wimbledon, Gillingham had a poor start, they're picking up, but Doncaster are currently the highest placed relegated team from last season, and we sit in 13th. So just shows that either we, all 4 of us, were very, very poor and we've come into a poor division and continue to be poor, or League Two is getting much more competitive. I'll let you argue that one out in the comments. But Wimbledon, I think they can put some of their recent form down to having a squad that is currently down to the bare bones, a lot of injuries. So hopefully Doncaster can capitalise on that and set up to win a game rather than setting up not to lose. So we will see in tomorrow's fixture how we set up and if we do win the game or not. On to play profile for this one, I've gone with Jonathan Mitchell, 28 years old, goalkeeper for the Rovers. He's the first team keeper. He's got very little competition because of injuries in that area. But I do feel for Mitchell because in some games especially, because I think the lads in front of him have not helped. He's got 8 clean sheets out of 36 this season, and I think it just shows how defensively poor we've been, and that's not just down to this season, that's previous seasons as well. Been very poor for the last couple of years. Mitchell, he makes mistakes. I've called him out on his mistakes on Twitter. I've had a hammering for calling him out on mistakes, his positioning, getting lobbed too easy, his distribution, you name it. But I think what he lacks in some areas, I think he makes up for in being able to pull off very good saves at point blank range, and some of those saves have kept us in games. It's just a shame that the lads in front of him aren't producing anything in front of goal or preventing other goals or attacks from happening, because I think if the other lads were doing their job as well as Mitchell does at shot stopping, I think we'd be in a much better position. So he's out of contract this summer. We will see if he extends it, but I do think we need another keeper in to provide some healthy competition for Jonathan, and keep him on his toes and playing at his best. On to the opponents, one to watch for this one. I've gone with Ali Al-Hamadi. Hopefully I've not butchered his name too much. 21 years old, centre forward. He's only played 9 times for AFC Wimbledon. He's one of the new boys, but he's scored 5 in his last 4 games, I believe it is. So he's certainly on form. Although Wimbledon haven't won any of those games, I think he's definitely the one to watch. He's on fire at the minute, and I think we've seen over the last couple of games, if a team scores past us, they will more than likely go on to win the game. I don't think we've got it in us at the minute to fight back from a goal down. So if he's hungry again tomorrow and bags a goal early on, I do worry for how the game may pan out. So for me, the one to watch, Ali Al-Hamadi. Onto the predicted team lineup. So if you've watched the vlog from the Harrogate game, you'll have heard how frustrated I was, how angry I was, how disappointed I was, not just at the performance but some of the substitutions as well and the way that we set up. So my predicted team lineup, I don't think it's going to be the way that we set up because it's not the Danny Schofield way, but this is my personal opinion and this is what I'd like to see us set up as, to try and actually win a game of football and take a game of football to the opposition. I've gone with Mitchell in goal, a back 3 of Oluwu, Nelson and Anderson, a little bit wider than what they're currently playing. I'd like to push Brown and Rowe a little bit further up, so the more right mid and left mid than wing backs, with Ben Close and Harrison Biggins in the middle, with Charlie Lakin just in front, possibly Kyle Hurst in that position to try and kind of infiltrate the back line in that gap between the midfield and the strikers. And I would love to see 2 up front. Lavery on his own, isolated, running around like headless chicken, chasing lost causes. He got swapped out on the 66th minute for Miller. It didn't change the approach, it didn't impact the game for me, and that's where substitutes should, or that's the job of a substitute, impact the game positively. And I think whenever you're swapping like for like, you're not going to gain anything, and we didn't on Tuesday. So I'd like to see a change up in tactics. Do I think we're going to see it? No, but that's my predicted team lineup for tomorrow's fixture. Yeah, thanks to FanHub. If you've not downloaded the app yet, please go ahead and do so. It is decent. That takes me on to the Predictions League table. So if you're new to this, me and the family predict the scoreline for every single league game. If we get it spot on, we get 3 points. If we get the outcome of the game right, but not the scoreline, we get 1 point. If we get it completely wrong, we get no points. So it's been a very, very poor season for me. And it was poor for all of us on Tuesday night. We had 3 predictions for a win and 1 for a draw. Chris, Max and myself had faith in the Rovers, which wasn't repaid. My dad didn't have quite as much faith. He went for the draw, but no changes in the table, no changes in points. We've got Chris and Max joint top on 21 points, Dad in third on 14, and then I'm rock bottom on 11. Having as good a season as the Rovers. And that takes me on to my score prediction. I have very little faith. This is where I'm currently at. Very frustrated from Tuesday, very disappointed, and just can't see where we move on from here. With just the performance level so poor, it was like we were on the beach, and that worries me coming into the remaining 12 games of the season. If we're in with a chance of playoffs and that's the performance that we put out, what on earth are we going to do when that's mathematically impossible? So yeah, not looking forward to this one in all honesty, but with Wimbledon's squad issues, injury issues, I do think there's an opportunity for at least a point, if not all 3. We should be going for all 3 because we're playing at home, but with our lack of creativity and ability to score, I'm going to have to go with a score draw, a 1-1. We've got to get a goal from somewhere. I think Wimbledon will more than likely score against us. Doesn't help either of us out, in all fairness, on the day, but I don't know. Just feel like I have a lack of enthusiasm coming into this one. Hopefully that changes come 5 o'clock on Saturday, but it is the hope that kills you. So I'm going with a 1-1 in this one, and that's where I'm going to leave it. If you've enjoyed it, big thumbs up on it for us, please. Comments in the section down below. Subscribe if you haven't already. As always, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.